For EP, climbing walls and handholds is our business, but that's really not why we're here. We're here to enrich people's lives and introduce climbing to the world. We know that once somebody gets an opportunity to go indoors and climb on a climbing wall, that they're going to be hooked and they're going to be a climber for life.
Hello and welcome to Haiyang in China. After a brief stint in North America, we are now back on Asian soil for the next stage of the IFSC 2014 season with a World Cup in each of our 3 disciplines. Over the next 2 days, we will see the second Boulder and Speed World Cup in China and the first Lead World Cup of this year. After a vibrant opening ceremony, the city of Haiyang, home to 690,000 people, held its breath as athletes from all reaches of the globe descended upon the local venue and prepared to ascend our 3 different competition walls. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you're joining us from around the world at the moment. Welcome back to Haiyang. We are here for our lead finals this evening. Apologies that we're now joining the athletes during their observation time. That is unfortunately due to some weather conditions we've had here at the venue. We've had a lot of rain in the break, had to put up a lot of tents and get everything under cover. We've only just got things up and running for the entire venue here. There was a moment where they were worried about whether we were going to be able to have the comp tonight if the rain kept up and if it didn't dry too quickly. Luckily, one of the things about having such a humid climate like this is that things tend to dry relatively quick, and it's looking like things are going well now for everyone. Over at the bottom of the wall, it looks like we're ready to get things underway. The first thing I'd like to do this evening is introduce my co-commentator who's with me all the way through this evening, and that is Norway's very own Magnus Midtbo. Magnus, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Even though I didn't make finals, I'm still happy.
It was a tough semis, would you say? We were talking earlier about the risk factor of it. What would you say about the semi-finals in general?
Yeah, it was pretty risky. I mean, you couldn't stop anywhere. You had to take chances, and I feel like I did. And in the end, I'm pretty happy with my climbing. But unfortunately, I did not make finals due to countbacks. Maybe a little bit because I overslept on Friday. I missed the opening ceremony, and Jörg woke me up like 10 minutes before it started. So I'm not going to blame it on that, but yeah, maybe it had something to do with it.
We were saying about the risk factor of the whole thing there, because a lot of people were tied on 33 plus, the same move that saw you come down, saw a lot of other people coming at the same part there. What would you say the setting was like throughout the semi-finals?
Really small holds. The route setters forced you to like keep on climbing. You couldn't really stop anywhere, and you had to take chances, as I said. And yeah, unfortunately, Ramon messed up. He did like in Bercy, like you said, in the World Championships, and he kind of stalled and went like back and forth for a while, and then in the end he was just too tired and fell. And that's really unfortunate, because looking at this final now, I think you would really like it.
Okay, so just on your screen at the moment, guys, you're currently looking at our start list for the men's lead final. Starting things off is Sean McCall, and manages to get in. He was the highest ranked from the countback of those 33 plus tie points that Magnus found himself in as well. Min Hyun Bin then next out for us in reverse order. Remember, we're going up towards the highest to qualify. Jakob Schubert next, Stefano Ghisolfi, then Korinaga Kichiro, Domen Skofic, Godier Super, and Ramon de Grange. Ramon de Grange, the only athlete to have topped out in the semi-finals. That was an impressive climb though, right? You thought that was a good one?
Really impressive. I don't think I've ever seen Ramon this strong. So it'll be really interesting. It seems like the final is a little bit of the same style, so I think he can do really well.
And then an unusual one in the women's here as well. As you can see all these guys heading back now, their observation time coming to an end before we start bringing out our first few climbers. But an unusual one in the women's event due to a tie, and tie on countback as well. We actually have 9 female athletes here in our final tonight, as opposed to the usual 8 that we're used to seeing. Starting things off for us will be Charlotte Durif, followed by Yuka Kobayashi. The two of them were tied not only in the semi-finals but also on countback to qualis, so both of them are making it through here tonight. Rita Ota next up for Japan, then Elin Janiko, Danara Fakritinova, Anak Verhoeven, Magdalena Roek, Mina Markovic, and Kim Yain. Strange not to see Momoka Oda through to a final at the start of the year here. Do you think that's anything to do with the fact that she has been doing a bit of bouldering as well? She might be focusing on the 2 disciplines?
Maybe, but I think, again, like, maybe it's the risk factor, you know? It's, looking at the girls, it seemed like everyone fell like around the same point, and it was a little bit about luck as well, I think. I didn't see her climb though, so I'm not really sure. But
now looking at the wall itself here that we have in front of us, interested to see a difference in the routes here. Now just because of the fact that the wall is relatively short, I mean it's still high, but it's not as high as we've seen at a lot of other places. The route setters are really having to utilize the wall as much as they possibly can. And just taking a look at the men's here at the left-hand side of the screen at the moment, that's snaking its way up there to try and use as much of it as possible. Looking at what I have of the information from the route setting team here and our chief route setter as well. For the men's, we have a rough estimate on grade, which is very rare that the route setters give us that, but as a rough route grade, as a guide, it's an 8C to an 8C+. We're looking at 50 movements, and the style is very similar to the kind of thing that we saw in the semi-finals earlier on today, which is power and strength, and it's just relatively risky as well. There are a few points in there where you really have to have the confidence to go for it, and we saw that cost some of the athletes earlier on today. For the women's, we're looking at a route grade roughly of around an 8B to an 8B+. So we've lucked out here because we don't usually get gradings from the route setters. They don't like talking about it, but we've been provided a rough one here. Choices that we've got here out of the athletes that we're looking at that we're going to see in a moment's time, which would you say out of our athletes have the power and the strength and the ability to really push into being risky and risking something out of the men? Which do you think are going to do well here?
well, I think it's really interesting with the Japanese kid. I mean, it's his first final. He can either be intimidated or he can see this as like he's a wild card, you know, he's an underdog, and he can really take advantage of that because he doesn't really have anything to lose in this final. And so I really hope that he just like does his best and he's not, as I said, like intimidated by being in his first final.
Do you think it might take some of the pressure off him, the fact that he didn't really expect maybe to get as far as he has, and now he can kind of just say, okay, well, at least I'm here, and that will take some pressure off?
I think so. I mean, that's how it was for me in my first final, at least. So, yeah, hopefully.
And then for the women, it's a long endurance kind of route. Out of the people that we have here, the female athletes that are going to be coming out for this one, who would you say is more tuned into that long endurance? And from the semi-finals, who's looking good today?
Well, I didn't see the whole semi-finals, but I'd say Jae Kim I think she's strong, but again, she has a lot to lose, you know, so if it's risky, she might stall like Ramon did, but usually she's good at like just going for it, so it's hard to say.
In terms of that endurance style of things, one athlete that we've definitely seen a lot of impressive movement from in that sort of style recently is Magdalena Roig and also Anna Verhoeven, these two younger athletes that are putting on a really good show in terms of challenging some of the older girls at the moment.
What I see as well. I know you put that way, but the whole day is comment on what you think. It doesn't go. You're talking about stuff that's not matching the camera. I can't sit back there, I can't see the top.
So here we can see some of our female athletes just warming up in the back there, getting ready to come out and have a go. Katharina Posch just missing out on a spot in the finals earlier on today. We have Ellen Giannico, Dinara Fakhretdinova. Still to come after these guys. But first up, we've got Charlotte Durif, Yuka Kobayashi there, waiting for their chance to come out in front of the wall here. Looking at the routes that we have in front of us, Magnus, out of the two of them, starting with the men's on the left-hand side, which points are you looking at here and thinking that could potentially be a crux?
I think the roof section for the men looks pretty hard, and I also think it's interesting with the cross clip. You see the cross? That's the last clipping position. I haven't seen that for a couple of years. Like a couple of years ago it was pretty normal, but they haven't used it the last few years because I mean, they don't want to disqualify anyone for forgetting. You know, it's for their own safety. That's what it's supposed to be for. So I don't know why they put it here, but yeah. I just hope that everyone remembers to clip from that position, because otherwise they will be disqualified.
So
That's quite a long proportion of time there. We'll point that out to you in a little while, but the first athletes are emerging now. We have Charlotte Durif and Sean McCall coming out for us here. There's Sean there, number 11 at the bottom of the wall. Sean, we've seen Sean developing this sort of style in the past few years of climbing fast and very quickly, very aggressively on the wall. In terms of this kind of route, do you think that's going to help him?
I think that's going to help him. He's really good. I mean, he climbed a lot yesterday. He came second in the bouldering, and I think that also maybe takes a little bit of pressure off. You know, he just has a lot of energy now. He just wants to do well in lead as well. He just made it into finals, so he has nothing to lose, and I think, as always, he's gonna climb well, and especially on this route, because it forces you to climb on, and you can't really stop anywhere, and that's very much like Sean's style. So hopefully he has enough endurance after this whole bouldering circuit to get far.
Well, the silver medal yesterday is definitely going to be bringing him into this on high hopes. You know, he's had the buzz of a win yesterday to carry him into today. He doesn't seem to have had much of an issue with being that tired, though. I mean, he did say yesterday after the Boulder final when we were chatting to him, yeah, he was starting to get a little bit run down, but he climbed very well in the semi-finals earlier today. He seems like he's in a really good shape at the moment. Charlotte Durif,
really good. He told me in the isolation that he wasn't feeling so tired, but his skin was feeling pretty sore. So he wasn't doing too much warming up because he wanted to save his skin. And on those holes, you definitely need skin. They're not as good as they look.
So you're feeling like this first section that we're finding Sean on the wall here at the moment, this traverse, the first pretty much straight traverse over to the left-hand side, this should be pretty straightforward up to the donuts. You're thinking that the roof section is going to be the first major point we're seeing some cruxes?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see all the holes from here, but it looks like that. And also, I think that's where the route setters want people to start at least feeling a little pumped. So I think it's gonna get harder up there. But also the beginning looks pretty tricky. But Sean seems to climb it well.
Do you think that turnout that Sean's just done, turning away from the wall, do you think that's a deliberate thing there from the route setters, or is it just the way that Sean's approached it?
No, I think that's on purpose. Yeah, it's like a Mission Impossible move right there.
It seems
because
like
it's a pocket. So I mean, at least the guys won't be able to match that pocket, and then the only way you can do that move is to cross under and face the crowd. Oh, that's nice.
So Sean pushing into the roof here now. Looking good at the moment. Charlotte Durif approaching the roof here as well. Sean, next move, big move, little bit risky there. Just popping up to come out of that roof. You thinking this is the move? Is this the move, do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, he climbed so smooth up to there, so it didn't look hard at all, but sometimes Sean can make things look really easy, so we'll just have to see if it's really that easy. I think climbing with a lot of confidence, as Sean just did, really helps. So, it might not look as easy as the rest of it.
Sean appreciating the crowd there and their support as he's going back into the ISO to get sorted and changed now, be able to come out and watch the rest of the competition. Currently got Charlotte Durif here. Charlotte Durif here taking a moment to rest at this section. Looks like we have found a little bit of a moment there that the female athletes are able to shake out a tad. 23 years old, world ranked 25th. Came 5th at Briançon last year. 5th at Chamonix. Best result so far to date. Gold medal at Chamonix back in 2010. So the section that she's moving into on the wall now around the roof here, route setters have intended this to be quite difficult to understand and involving quite a bit of endurance.
See, Charlotte spent quite a lot of time getting into the first section of the roof here. Looks like it could be quite a technical roof section. Just to figure out exactly how you're going to move through it. Once she comes out of this roof, she's going to get into an even more technical section. Small holds, hard on the fingers, and particularly the final 3 moves, extremely pumpy on this route. They're really challenging the female athletes here in the final. Our next male athlete out now, we were talking about him a little bit earlier, Magnus. We have Min Hyun Bin on the wall now, and about how he made the sequence that caught Ramone, and they are the same height. How do you think he's going to deal with this being a smaller athlete? I mean, Sean is relatively similar to both of their heights anyway, but his kind of style, is it fitting of this route?
I think so. He's really strong on those small holds, but as you see here, that was a sketchy move. It might be a little reachy down low. I mean, I think Sean is a few centimeters longer, and I think he has a longer span because I think, and so Ramon as well, he has long arms. But Hyun Bin Min not so much. So it'll be interesting to see how he does also the Mission Impossible move, the cross move. But I think that won't be a problem.
So you think Min has a smaller ape than Sean has, so that kind of stretchy athletic move's going to be hard on him?
Yeah, I think so. And I think generally he has more endurance than Sean, but Sean is stronger and more powerful.
Which is going to help on this kind of route as well. It's all about power, strength, and the risk factor and being able to push for it. Well, he definitely proved himself earlier on today with that risk factor. He was more than willing to attack the route. So risky, in fact, that he forgot the clip towards the roof section in the semi-finals. I don't know whether he forgot it or deliberately ignored it, but he went quite a bit ahead of that. Had to be capped by the judges at a height of 35.5. We saw Charlotte Durif just a moment ago towards the end of the roof section there, coming down. But a very good effort from her to start things off. That's our high point at the moment.
It's also interesting to see Charlotte competing again because she's been studying in the US, I think, for a year now. And I think her plan was not to return to doing comps and stuff. But here she is. She must have missed it while studying in the US.
You think that's what it is, that she just kind of craved getting back into it again?
I think so. I mean, it's. I think when it's like such a big part of your life, and then all of a sudden you just give it up. I think it takes time probably, but you'll miss it for sure.
How do you feel the downtime in between the season? Like when you finish things up at the end of this year, do you get bored?
No, at first it's really nice, because you can do whatever you want. You can climb outside, which is, to me, is really important, and also to many of the other guys. But then you start to get a little bored, and you want some more structure in your life. I mean, most of us, we don't have normal jobs or anything, so this is our structure.
So you try and implement that into then a training regime and the build up towards the start of the year, yeah?
Exactly, and the traveling and the routines you have in front of the competition.
Are you all very wary at the start of the year of the fact that you don't know what condition you're all in and how hard you've been trying? I mean, I know a lot of you do train together. I know you and Jakob are great friends, and Jorg as well, but in the interim, the time between, are you very aware at the start of the season that you might see some dark horses?
Definitely. I mean, usually it's Chamonix competition where everyone is wondering what level they're at, but now it's here, and I think we've gotten some answers now.
Well, last year that was Dmitry Fakiryanov, wasn't it, in Chamonix, that surprised everybody. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Very, very young Russian athlete just started wowing us all.
Yeah. And this year it might be the Japanese.
The young Japanese that we're having a little bit later on here.
Oh, that's a big one.
Oh, I thought for a moment he was going to be able to hold that then. It looked like he was quite comfortable. I mean, it was a risky move, but anything he did wrong there at all?
That looked really far. I mean, Sean made that look so easy, and that's sometimes Sean can make things like that look really easy, but it's really not. And I think Sean's power really helped him through that rule.
Well, next out on the female wall now is Yuka Kobayashi. We have her out and climbing at the moment, starting to push up towards that first roof section where we lost Charlotte Durif earlier on.
Yuka is 26 years old from Ibaraki, world ranked 12th at the moment, came 13th at Haiyang last year. It's part of the Asia Tour, also which Haiyang played its part in as well. She's here again now. A lot of strapping on her right knee. How often do you use tape yourself? She's got a lot of strapping on the right leg here.
Don't use any tape.
Never? Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been injured, so I haven't really needed any tape.
Is it more often than not that the athletes only really use that if they've had a prior injury, just to make sure that there's some extra support?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I talked to the Austrian physio about that, because all of a sudden all the climbers use tape, or especially the girls. And he said he called it comfort tape. So I don't know. I mean,
extra bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Like a placebo.
Yeah.
Some impressive results from previous years here for Yuka Kobayashi. A second place at Zinning on the IFSC Lead World Cup there back in 2010. Also a second place at the IFSC Asia Championships in Guangzhou in 2008. In recent years, came 11th at Perm, 13th at Mokpo, 13th at Haiyang, as I mentioned earlier. Has been competing in the bouldering and do relatively well as well, but the last time she made finals was back in 2012 on the IFSC circuit, so this is looking like a good start to the season for her. Up into the roof here, and now on the men's route we get started with Jakob Schubert. Unfortunately, as we lose Yuka Kobayashi at that point, and get ready to welcome our next female athlete. Shame there. As I did mention earlier, that roof section is supposed to be difficult to read. So this first section of the wall on the men's, I'm told from the race setters, it's relatively strange around the volumes. There's some quite balancy, positioning, tough moments here on the start. Then there's that big cross that we saw from Sean over to the cross clip at the top. That's the traverse going the other way. Then it gets into a very physical section in the roof. There's no feet, so it's quite risky there. We saw that happen with Hyunbin a few moments ago. It brought him down. And then a very technical finish here with small holds, hard on the fingers, and mentally quite difficult as well. Going to cause a bit of doubt for them. Now you're quite close to Jakob in general. How's his recovery been with his finger? Has it been okay?
Yeah, he's been feeling good. He said that his finger hurt a little during the semi-final. There was a tiny hold in the beginning, but he said luckily he found a good hole after that to recover, to like shake it out, you know. So I think that will be important. But now he was a little unlucky with the sun, because it was cloudy before, but now all of a sudden got really hot.
Yeah, it's really hot.
And especially on those volumes, it's really going to make a difference.
So our next female athlete emerging here now then. Let's try her luck on the wall in front of us. That is Risa Ota of Japan. Impressive performance earlier on today. You're going to see how she gets on here. 21 years old from Yamaguchi. World ranked 18th, 19th place at Haiyang last year. 8th place in the lead in Haiyang last year. Made the finals. 8th place at Mokpo last year as well, and 13th place at Briançon. Came 5th at the Female Juniors Lead World Youth Championships in Singapore back in 2012, as mentioning earlier. Her teammate, as Jakob tries to make this tough crossover and manages it. Seems Sean really kind of went into that move a lot more than Jakob. Jakob's come low. Do you think that might have been because it was awkward on the finger, or just because it's safer to do it that way?
No, I think it might be because it's awkward with the finger, but he also has a different style of climbing. Sean is really fast, and especially now that he knows he doesn't have as much endurance as some of these guys, so he has to climb really fast. And sometimes that really pays off. Like it's also, Adam has the same approach. You know, he's climbing really fast, and I mean, of course, there's a bigger risk, but there's also a bigger gain. So.
Would you say that getting pumped is something that happens quite gradually, or do you think that it, you know, in terms of people like Sean and Adam who are climbing faster, that kind of style and the choice of it, if you're moving consistently fast from the very beginning, you think you kind of fall into a rhythm and it helps you, or do you think that pumping is the kind of thing that if you are moving at a certain pace and suddenly you up that pace into a harder, more powerful section, that then you get over pumped? For you, when is the usual point that you start to get extremely pumped?
I mean, it all depends on like how much endurance you have, and also being aware of that, because you need to adapt your climbing style to how fit you are. You know? If I'm not fit and I feel like I have no endurance, I need to run, I need to take chances, I need to climb fast. But for people like Ramon, who has tons of endurance in the bank, who can like recover on the smallest holds, they don't need to take like big chances like I sometimes do. So yeah, especially in the semi-final, I bet in the final he will be a little more, he'll climb a little faster. But here's Jacob. It's gonna be interesting to see how.
Well, they were talking about no feet on that crossover in the roof. Jakob seems to have found some footholds to use there. Manages to stick the move that caught Sean, so we're approaching a new high point here now from Schubert.
Next move.
Good effort there. What brought him down at that point?
It looked like he had much more to give, but that move just looked really hard. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see like Romain on that move, but to me that looks pretty hard.
Now this upper section seems to be getting a lot more crimpy as well. You're going into much smaller holes. After the kind of climb that it is beforehand, with those kind of like open palms on some of these volumes, the donuts that you're dealing with here, and then getting a little bit smaller, more constrictive in the roof. Is that really going to be a huge issue with the crimps, then switching, then your hands starting to get really tired at that point? Is it a little bit evil of the route setters to have put that at the very top of the wall?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are like different chapters of this route, you know. You have the sketchy beginning and a little more powerful middle, and then the roof section, and then a very tricky top. And usually the French are really good in the tricky top part. So that'll be really interesting to see if someone actually can stick that move. Or it's going to come down to the semi-final results, and hopefully it doesn't.
We've seen some ties already today, hence the reason that we have 9 female athletes in the final. We now have Ellen Janicot coming out for us on the women's wall. We'll be welcoming our next male athlete very shortly, which I believe is Stefano. We're going to stick with Ellen Janicot here. I believe that we'll be ready some point soon with Stefano Ghisolfi, but for now we're sticking with Ellen Janicot. Analysing the women's route from this point, obviously the roof has caused the most problem at the moment for that. How hard is it, particularly on the shoulders, to do a switch from an incline to a roof and then out of a roof?
It's pretty hard, and also because you need to change your climbing style, you know, and that's what, for example, Sean is really good at. He's climbing pretty slow and steady the first part of this route because you don't need too much speed. But then as soon as it gets steeper, he really speeds up, and I think that's what you need to do on the women's route as well. You need to, as soon as you get to the roof, you need to climb faster because you get pumped faster. Okay.
So this particular roof section on this one's supposed to be very difficult to read. It's supposed to be a technical side of things. The path through this one, there's quite a lot of moves through that roof there. Which of these points up that section would you say it's possible to maybe get a rest in anywhere, or is it just all straight through as much as you can?
I don't know. With all those triangles, usually I would look for a knee bar. But girls, or most girls don't like knee bars for some reason. But I think that could really help someone. Like if they find a knee bar in the roof, it could really be crucial.
Are you thinking up towards the end section of the roof there, there's that dish with the cut-in and the triangle? You think the wedge between that?
Maybe. It's hard to say from where we're sitting, but yeah, maybe. There are a lot of holes in the roof, though. I bet they're all really bad, but it makes it really hard to read the roof. I think there are many different ways to do this roof.
Ellen really trying to reach.
There's another cross, so you need to flip from that position, and that's also just another stressing factor.
Well, she was trying to get it then from quite low down. She's really reaching away from the wall. So that must be a quite decent hold there that we're seeing on the first little pyramid section at the start of the roof. She felt confident enough to make a move like that. Now she's going to start moving over to the left-hand side. Nice to see a lot of you guys joining us. And getting involved on the chat. If you want to get in touch, you can do so using the hashtag IFSCWC. I'm here with Magnus Midtbo. He's going to be with us all the way through the final here. Currently watching Ellen Janiko climb. Interested to see so many of your thoughts here on the feed getting involved. People saying, remember that this is Stefano's second final in 2 days. Way to go. It's also Sean's as well from earlier on. We've seen some very impressive mixed climbing over the past few days. Ellen getting into a bit of a tricky position there. Not quite managing to push up over the lip of that roof. A decent effort from her.
That was a high point though, right?
I believe so. Whereas Charlotte Durif wasn't too far away from it. She was starting to move out of that roof section. So Stefano Gazolfi about to emerge. You can see him there waiting, getting in prepared. So let us know who you're cheering from, where you're joining us from. Toasty saying, so wait, Adam Ondra didn't make it to the lead finals. Interesting. How was his performance in the semi-finals? That's a question for you there, Magnus, then. So there are some people surprised that Adam Ondra's not in the finals. I think everyone's surprised that he's not in the finals, but asking about how his performance was in the semis and what it was that caught Adam Ondra out.
Well, his heel hook slipped at the same move I fell on, and Sean and Akito. Unfortunately, he had a pretty bad qualification result. I don't know what happened in his qualification, but if he had done better in the qualification, he would have been in instead of Sean.
Because everyone was tied at that point, he went to countback.
Yes.
One of the things he was talking to me about was the fact that he was climbing during the rain coming down in the qualifications. The wall was a little bit wet for him, and then when he climbed the second time, he had the sun problem. So he basically had the worst section of either wall during the qualifications. He wasn't happy with his performance there. Yeah. But so basically, to any of you that have missed it, it went to countback due to quite a lot of people falling around the same move. Adam did the same thing. His heel hook slipped, brought him down. And then due to countback, it was Sean that managed to make it through into the finals here tonight, and not Adam of those tied. Stefano Gazolfi starting off for us here. So as you can see there in the bottom right hand corner, we've got a clock going down. 7 minutes left here at the moment. 8 minutes these athletes are allowed. Their allotted time to try and complete the route, and unbelievably, Stefano Gazolfi very, very early here, coming down. What do you think happened there? I mean, I know you said it was a risky start earlier on, but...
Yeah, I mean, Min also struggled on that move. He made that look really hard. So it's not an easy move, for sure. And climbing in the sun especially, it makes the holes really slippery, and yeah.
So a combination of factors there, because Stefano doesn't seem to be that tired. I spoke to him earlier on over lunch, and he was saying that he thought he was going to be a lot more exhausted than he was. He was towards the end of yesterday after the bouldering finals, but woke up relatively refreshed this morning. Even after the semis, felt fine. I know he went back to the hotel for a lie down and just to sort of chill out in between the two, but he said he wasn't actually too bad. So maybe that was just a tricky move, as you say. He's got the sun on there, slippier holds. For yourself, in the gap in between, if you go from semis into finals, what do you like to do with those 3 or 4 hours?
Personally, I just like to hang out with friends and just, I don't know.
Relax.
No, not do anything really. I know a lot of people like to be alone, but I don't know. I like the company for sure. But besides that, we don't really do anything. Just trying to, not sit in the sun and eat a little bit, drink lots of coffee.
Are you a coffee fiend when it comes to climbing?
Definitely.
That surprises me, because
Sean is as well.
I've watched Jan be so careful about what he's eating and what he's drinking over the past few days. And he came over to me the other morning at breakfast and saw what I had on my plate, and he went, "That's mine tomorrow," because he's had to eat like fruit and everything until he's finished the competition, and then now he's allowed to binge eat.
Yeah.
But you're not one of the ones that worries too much about that. You just
no. I mean, I try to eat healthy, but I didn't think that coffee was unhealthy though.
It's just it's caffeine, isn't it? You know,
it's caffeine,
but you don't get a little bit shaky if you've hyped up too much on it.
Yeah, I do get a little shaky, but I'm used to the caffeine, so I think I deal with it pretty well. I know like a lot of other athletes take caffeine pills, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the climbers even took caffeine pills. It's legal and
things like Pro Plus and that kind of thing.
So I think caffeine actually helps you, at least me. I mean, if you're used to drinking coffee, it's essential. And sometimes here in China, it's hard to find coffee, or good coffee at least. So
you find that helps you focus then, and you don't usually get too shaky if you're up on the wall.
Sorry?
I said you find it helps you focus, and you don't usually get too shaky if you're on the wall after a coffee.
No, because I'm used to coffee. For me, it's the other way around. If I don't get coffee, then I get shaky. You know?
I think we've just figured out why Sean climbs so fast.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the high point is with Jakob Schubert with a height of 32 plus. Beneath him, Sean McCall with 31 plus, and then currently Min Hyun Bin in third with 27 plus. Unfortunately, Stefano with a low score there. Early fall, very unexpected, a height of 7 plus there from him. We're now with Dinara Fakhrudinova, our current European champion, again trying the same move we saw by Ellen Janiko. Do you think that might have been because they've discussed when they're going to clip at the observation? They maybe had a chat about going for it from there.
I didn't really see if they observed the route together. I think that Charlotte and Hélène
would have, yes.
would do it together, but so I'm not really sure. I think climbing this route, you just need to go into it with an open mind, because there's so many holes, and you need to be able to change your plan. Just feel the holes, feel how they are, and just like act on instinct.
Dinara getting into this roof section here. Another one that was in the bouldering final yesterday. Done both events over the past few days. Have you ever thought about going into the combined event at the World Championships or anything like that?
Who?
You yourself?
No, I mean I haven't really done speed before, and I don't feel like, for me right now, lead is the most important. But I'm also, I like bouldering, and I wouldn't mind doing that for a year, just like going with everything into bouldering and focusing on that. But as of now, it's lead. And eight comps this year is enough. 4 of them being in Asia, so it's going to be a lot of traveling. I can't imagine like Sean doing everything, and Jacob last year. And
I can remember over the past few years that there are certain points during the years that when Sean is doing everything, he gets extremely fatigued. There was a couple of points, I think, during last year actually, that you could tell he'd just gone from lead comp to bold comp. I mean, we get exhausted because we're going to them and we're not even climbing, but it is a lot of travel. It's week in, week out, every weekend. I can see how that would affect someone. Danara back to that previous position, having a bit of a shakeout here. Doesn't feel comfortable enough on that next push-up. Still shaking out here. People were saying earlier as well that she's actually twinged her shoulder during the boulder competition. That's why she's got some strapping up on the right arm there. Big move and managing to stick it. No, not quite. She had it for a moment there, but couldn't quite hold on. Takudinova coming back down to the ground now. We're getting ready for our next male athlete. So no female athlete has surpassed the roof as of yet. Every female athlete has struggled with the roof. And there you can see for the men's exactly how it stands at the moment. Schubert with a height of 32 plus, McCall with a 31 plus, Min with 27 plus, and Gazolfi all the way down here in 7 plus. Now I believe that's something to do with the conditions on the wall, a lot of heat coming onto the wall. He was at the end of the real clear sun there as well. I think just a basic mistake, and it is quite a tricky start there. The route setters have put it out there and said that they've made it a tricky start. Here we can see our next athlete waiting in the wings to come out. This is the athlete that we were talking about a little bit earlier today, Chiro Koronaga. One of these new athletes. Magnus was saying, you know, first final, is he going to be nervous? Is he going to be relaxed now that he knows that, you know, he's already done his personal best by getting here? He's only 18 years old. He's been an Asia Youth Champion before, so he's used to competition formats. Male Youth B lead category back in 2011. A gold medal there. And then an 8th place in the Male Youth A lead at the World Youth Championships in Saanich, Central Saanich in Canada last year. Best result so far on a senior IFSC lead World Cup was 16th place. And that was in Inzai, in Japan in 2012. Let's see whether this next move in this section here, the point that caught Stefano Gazolfi, is going to be a problem for Kichiro. He's looking hesitant here. Definitely hesitating. This doesn't look too comfortable either. You think this is going to start to build up a pump here in him?
Yeah, maybe. He looked really confident from the start. There's a running jump.
What were you saying?
There's a. I didn't realize till now, but there's a running jump, running start. Like there's a triangle there. We can't really see it from where we sit, but yeah, and he looked really confident on that. But that's the thing. Like as soon as you stop your flow and you start all those negative thoughts start going through your head, then yeah, that's not a good thing. So that was unfortunate.
Very, very early fall there for Kichiro Koronaga. At the very least, his first final, he should be proud of that in himself. We hope to see much more of that as we move through the next lead season that lies ahead of us. Next athlete out then, 17-year-old Anna Verhoeven from Belgium. I mentioned in the semi-finals, one of the biggest hopes for Belgium that there is at the moment. She's here now fantastic young athlete, exceptional endurance, very good technical climber, very good at reading and analysing a route. She's taking the time again here now before getting onto the wall to just have a little double check. And she'll do now what she always does beforehand, I would expect, she'll have a little bit of a prayer at the bottom here.
Oh yeah?
Here we go. She's very, very religious, but aside from that, I think just the actual mantra of getting into that before you start your climb, I imagine that really focuses you and brings you into a zen place.
Just having a routine, I think.
And that as well, yeah, just having a routine. You got any bizarre little things that you do?
I don't.
Favorite pair of pants? Nothing?
No, not putting on my left shoe before my right shoe. There's nothing like that.
Nothing like that. So Anak makes a start here. Just for those of you that might have missed earlier on, I was given, believe it or not, hold your breath and be amazed, I was given some rough route grades from the route setters earlier on. They are rough, they're just an estimate. And as we were speaking to Tony early on today in the semi-finals, Tony was saying, you can't grade something like this, you're under a time structure. Actually, before I give the grades out again, I'd like to know your opinion on that. The whole grading system in a competition format, do you agree with giving it a rough idea, or do you think it's just like so away from the normal grading?
It's away from the normal grading for sure. I mean, I don't know about bouldering, but for lead, most of the guys here at the lead comp in semifinals, they do 8Cs really like frequently in a couple of tries, so it doesn't really make sense that a final here is only 8C, at least if you compare it to the outside grades. But if you compare it to the grades at like Tivoli, for example, which is like the most popular climbing gym, it's correct, because at Tivoli everything is really hard and really, yeah, the grades are really tough. So it's really difficult to say, and it's really difficult to grade like plastic routes, you know, like inside, climbing inside. Yeah, it's really hard. But for me, like climbing one of these like World Cup finals is for sure harder than climbing the same grade outside.
So I'm going to give you those rough and unimportant grades for you again now then. For the men's, I've been given this 8C to an 8C plus. For the women's, an 8B to an 8B plus. For the men, 50 movements. For the women, 55. The men's style is all about power, strength, and being able to risk certain maneuvers, which we've seen already cost a couple of athletes the climb. We saw Kichiro Karanaga hesitating then a moment ago. There's a couple of other big risky moves as well. We saw Jakob earlier on having trouble with that. And then for the women's, it's all about long endurance style climbing, more like trad climbing. There's actually this tricky sort of technical, almost bouldery sort of style roof that they're having to deal with as well. And that's what Anak is about to get into here. Let us know what you're thinking of these so far. I've got a shout out from Cam, who's joining us from dear old Oz, saying, I already find that the IFSC routes are actually reachy, but that looks really uncomfortable. What a hard start. You could see there that Kichiro Karanaga was back and forward, trying to decide whether he felt comfortable enough to rely on that right hand and move up. Anak taking a moment to shake out here. Foot up, turning it into the wall, almost like a sideways drop, side one against it. Going up to the next pocket. What is it for you about lead climbing that draws you to it as much as it does? Out of the other disciplines and about climbing in general, and particularly in this case lead climbing, what is it that gets you the buzz so much? Is it being up high? Is it the stress of competition? What gives you the buzz?
For me, I think it's because I started with lead climbing. You know, when I grew up and started competing, it was only lead. Like there were no bouldering youth competitions, so it's always been lead for me. You know, it's like the people I looked up to when I was younger, and yeah, I don't know. It's just personal, you know. Some people say that probably bouldering would suit me better even, but it's just like a personal thing, you know. For me, it gives me more satisfaction to do well.
But what is it that you love about it? What is the thing about lead that gets you?
Well, I like the fact that like you get to you do a longer route. You know, you have the endurance part, not only the power part. I mean, the fact that you only have one try can sometimes be a bad thing. It can be pretty nerve-wracking, but at the same time, it's like one shot, one kill. Like you have to really be in your zone right away, and you need to perform your best, and you can't allow yourself to do any mistakes. And I think that's like that pressure is really intense, and that's what I like. That's what I'm drawn to, I think.
It's interesting because I can remember I was chatting to you, I think it was in Briançon a couple of years back. You were saying about your own personal attitude towards it, and the fact that you are there to have fun and to enjoy it. You know, you've always had quite a relaxed atmosphere or around you, like or an attitude when it comes to climbing. It's interesting for me that you have this mentality of being a relaxed climber and enjoying it, and yet the thing that gives you the buzz is the pressure and the tensity of it.
Yeah. Oh wow, she's looking strong.
Yep, up on the lip here now for Anak. Figuring out what to do with the feet, switching to a drop knee, trying to go again, but not quite able to get there. A round of applause from the crowd for Anak Verhoeven. Very good effort there. We're going to see whether that's going to be enough to see her onto the podium a little bit later on with some very strong female competition still yet to come. We're about to have Domen Skorfic come out and try this one. I was saying that last year he had a lot of problems with footholds and the positioning for his feet. It seemed to be this thing, and when I spoke to him about it, that it was something that he kept sort of forgetting to focus on. It was more like, you know, as a climber you focus on your hands, what you're doing with the upper part of your body. But his positioning in his feet, particularly at Perm and a couple of competitions last year, it cost him a couple of times. I was talking to Tony about how important it is or asking him rather, how important is it about your positioning of your feet, how you're moving through things. For a route like this, how important are your positioning of the feet, or do you think this is more?
I mean, it's important, but at the same time, you can't dwell too much on it because you need to keep on moving, you know? And yeah, climbing is all about like minimizing your errors, you know. You always do something wrong, but try to do it as correct as possible. So, like, for me, I like to rely more on speed. If I do something wrong with my feet once in a while, it doesn't really matter as long as I move like fast.
Well, he turned up a couple of years ago onto the lead circuit and just started blowing people out of the water. From a very young age, he's been a very impressive performer. We've seen him at the Youth World Cups and World Championships, progressing into the senior circuit as well. Atlanta, I remember being one of the big breakthroughs for him a couple of years ago now, 2012. Atlanta making the first finals there. And he's just got stronger ever since then. It was an impressive performance from him earlier on today. He's qualified very high today. See how Domen gets on here on this one. Another thing to bear in mind is that, you know, up until last year, Domen has still been competing on the World Youth Championships every year. Let's see how he makes this move here. Chiro was the problematic point for him. Big reach onto that sort of crimpy hold ahead of him here. He's putting his feet up again.
You could tell everyone were holding their breath while he was
Yeah, slightly nervous moment. We don't want to see too many of those early falls. Going up with the heel. Now, talk me through this one here, because there are some footholds to the right of him there.
Yeah.
There are two little footholds there that would allow him to move over to the right-hand side. And instead, he's just put the heel up and wedged it into that section on the yellow hole. Now, was that a mistake? Is that an error in judgment in him?
He stood really high with his left foot, so it looked like he had to cross and like lean over, not as much as like lean up like that. So I don't know. It might have been with where he placed his feet again. That's weird because the other guys fell on the move before that.
So you were saying then about the mistakes that he was making at that point on the wall?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just too high with the foot?
It'll be interesting to see the replays of the other guys, but I think his foot was really high and it looked really awkward the way he was like leaning over. So yeah, but I don't know. The holds might be a little more greasy now than when the first climb was final.
Well, we have a few more male athletes still yet to come, so it's going to be interesting to see whether we get any more early falls or really awkward moments at the start, because if that is a condition and a weather condition, that's going to be a major problem for us here. It's disappointing to have had that happen even as many times as it had now. It looked like it was a way of doing it that we've not really seen before, especially with those 2 footholds lower down onto the right hand side. So we'll wait and see how they get on in the next one.
We were actually discussing this earlier with Jacob. It's kind of dumb that the wall is facing the sun. I wish they waited a little longer till the wall was out of the sun, because then the temperature won't fluctuate as much as it's now.
I was talking to Adam Ondra earlier today, and he was saying that he actually prefers climbing indoors, like for example the arenas like Bercy or Valence, where they were inside for the lead comps. Do you prefer being out and about, or do you prefer being indoors?
I mean, it's more fair being indoors, and the crowd, or they sound louder for some reason because of the echoes and stuff. But at the same time, I like the atmosphere of being outside, even though it's not as fair as being inside, where everyone will have the same temperature conditions.
Of course, it helps with rain and things like that. If we ever had,
but I mean,
had some today where we were worried we weren't going to be able to start.
I guess I would have to disagree with Adam though, because my 2 favorite places are Arco and Chamonix, and they're both outside. So, I mean, but I get why he likes to have competition inside.
Our next up for us here is Magdalena Roeg of Austria, exceptionally strong. Young athlete. This is somebody that we've seen over the past year or so challenging people like Kim Jae-in, Mina Markovic for the positions on the podium. Momoka Oda was a very frequent 3rd place medalist throughout all of last year. She's not actually made finals this time. Magdalena is another one that's challenging both of those athletes for a run at the medals. And here you can see on your screen at the moment the standings as they are currently, which are putting Charlotte Dorif up here at the high point at the moment, on the edge there. I do believe that actually, I think Anak might have gone a little bit further than that a moment ago. See if her results are coming in a moment. But at the moment, Charlotte Dorif up there over the lip. Have you seen much of Magdalena climb before?
Yeah, I mean, I spent so much time with Austrians, so...
what would you say about her style?
She has so much endurance. She's climbing really safe, I would say. And the thing is, though, she's always making finals, but usually she doesn't do as well in finals as in semifinals. So I really hope she does well here.
I got some questions coming in here for you, asking just how you train for lead in general. People are asking.
Well, I think the most important thing I do is go to Austria to climb with my friends like Jakob, Mario, and there are a lot international climbers coming there to train. But, there's a high concentration of just like hard routes in the gym. So I think that's like the most important thing I do during the year, just in front of the season. So usually I go there before Chamonix. This year I went once, before coming here for a couple of days, and I'm coming back before Chamonix again.
So you're finding that climbing with friends, risky move here though for Magdalena Roch. She unbelievably manages to hold it and goes on the next one along. Tough point for Magdalena Roch. This is interesting because I've seen it time and time again that Anna and Magdalena seem to always fall at the same move or around the same point on the wall. We're seeing a very similar thing happen here again with the two of them. So you're saying basically training with friends, keeping it in a kind of relaxed environment?
Yeah, training with friends, and I mean, it's a really nice environment, and people like in climbing are so open and friendly, and especially because I've known these guys for like way back. And, it's just like for me, it's kind of like a tradition, coming to Austria in June and spending a week or two there, and then going to Chamonix. It's every year the same.
In terms of a weekly amount, how much is your output? What are you doing per day, and how long do you kind of stuff? Do you combine other sports?
I don't do any other sports, but it really depends on the week. I do hard weeks and I do easy weeks to recover from the hard weeks. So during a hard week, I'll train between 25. Around 25 hours, and I think that's quite a lot. And I also do a lot of bouldering compared to many of the other guys, like especially the Spanish guys from home, like Pachi they used to only train endurance, but I think more and more you get like bouldering moves, and you need to be able to do hard boulders, because there are so many hard boulders on a World Cup final. So.
This is interesting for me now as well. Gautier's really taking the time to analyse the start of this route without getting straight onto the wall. That's probably because he's been in isolation now, and he's been noticing these guys going out and then very, very quickly coming back round again. He's going to be very aware that there is a tricky move at the start here, something he's got to watch out for. Is that something that you notice when you're in finals yourself, Magnus, how quick they're coming back?
Yeah, you can hear, you can hear the crowd going, like, they're disappointed, and now this is the third time, so yeah, I think that's a wise decision to spend a little extra time on the ground. And he does that really.
I mean, breezing through that first little crux there. They're like not even spending any time really concentrating on the larger blue hold. He's gone straight onto the next one. And let's watch what he does with his feet here. He's used the first of those footholds to the right-hand side, which is where Domen put it up onto the left. He has gone round to the right, and now with a heel hook with the right foot, further out again onto the first banana.
French are so good in this low percentage style climbing. It's amazing. I wonder what the secret is.
So taking a moment to pause and now analyse the second section of the route. It was clear that he was analysing the beginning there. Just having a look at how he's going to get up and around this section. Do you think if we're likely to see, considering that they tend to excel at this sort of section and this style, and again at the top, do you think if we're going to see any of them or lose any of them, it will be in the roof where it becomes much more of a power thing?
Maybe, but then again, they're really good at keeping their feet not campusing in the roof. And Gautier, like, of everyone, I think he climbed the semi-final, at least the beginning, the best. Yeah, Loma as well, of course. They just seem really fit at the moment. So, but it'll be interesting to see if they can do the move where Jacob fell, because that to me seems really, really hard.
So here you can see on the wall at the moment, this is how it stands currently. So Schubert up at the very top there with a 32. Sean McCall underneath with a 31 plus, and Hyun Bin Min 27 plus. Gautier currently on the donut here.
因为我们决赛领奖台只有3个位置，没办法，只能选出1、2、3名啊。谁爬得更高？
Another moment to rest out here. Talk me through what this sequence is going to be from now through this route for him.
I can't really see all the holds from here, but I just talked to Min, and he told me the holds in the roof are not too bad actually. So yeah, I think he'll do this first part of the roof relatively easy, and then from where Sean fell, it's going to be hard. And yeah, to me that yellow hold that Jakob was going for looks like nothing. So.
Starting to move here. He's been very, very strong over the past few years. Seen him at home comps doing exceptionally well, and he also took a medal, if you remember, back in Palos. Big move here, managing to hold it still.
That's the thing when you try to keep your feet on, if you lose them,
big swing out.
Extra hard, yeah.
Got himself into a tricky position there. So you think that is something that should be campused?
Maybe. I think Sean made a heel hook in that V right there when he took the yellow crimp and went for the ball. But yeah, no, you go faster when you campus, so that's an advantage. But at the same time, it looked like he had a good sequence. Just like Min, you know, he had to go for the hold dynamically and he missed it and he fell. So I don't know if you want to take that chance in a World Cup final.
Problem, they said that it had to be risky.
Yeah.
And they've made it so that you have to try and do those sorts of things. Of course, there is the pressure of it, of course, being in a World Cup final. Mina Markovic is no stranger to World Cup finals, now out for us. Let's see how she deals with this route ahead of her. She's going to deal with the boulder midsection relatively well because she's used to being, you know, in the bouldering environment as well. So she should be very good at analysing that section of the wall and figuring out what the best possible route through it would be. She also has the endurance of a lead climber, and she has sort of dropped off the boulder competitions at this point because she's starting to focus on the lead season ahead of her. If you could say that there was any particular problem for her on this route, what would you expect it would be?
I don't really see any problems for her on this route. I think it'll fit her very well. She has like she has a little more manly style of climbing. It's more aggressive. It's faster, you know. And I think that can really help her through this route. And those last moves, just where Magdalena fell, I think just going for it, you know, doing it fast, not hesitating, would be an advantage. And I think she will do that. So I think she can do really well here.
Well, current standings, as we mentioned, Jakob Schubert with a 32 plus, Sean McCall in second with a 33 plus, and Min Hyun Bin with a 35.5 are the current podium positions at the moment. That's what these guys are going to have to beat to get on there. As you can see here, at the moment, this is what the standings are on the women's route, and it is Roik that has the high point at the moment with a 38 plus, just surpassing Anak Verhoeven with 37 plus. Charlotte Durif now with 36 plus, but a really good spread here. No two scores the same on this one. So, you know, even though we haven't had the top yet, if we get the top as well as this spread of results, we're looking at a pretty decent route here. We've had no one fall at the same point on the women's wall yet.
Yeah.
也感谢我们在星期天周末的时间有这么多海洋的朋友来观看我们的世界杯攀岩的比赛，谢谢大家的支持，所以一定要享受温暖的阳光、凉爽的海风，还有享受我们的快乐的周末。
Mina just about to push up into the route.
都很重要，非常期待所有的朋友能够理解我们的比赛，就好像电视场地上面比赛，跟随他的脚步一起攀登吧。虽然你会手心也出汗了，因为你会紧张。
Taking her time to look ahead of her here, see where she's going to go. She knows she's got to get that cross clip ahead of her. For now,
也可以因此来形容这个区域叫比赛的赛点，就看谁能够突破。哦，也是提前挂好这个保护单号。
There it is, clipped in, starting to move through this next roof section. Let's see how she gets on. If she starts to come out of this in a moment. Really taking the time to rest and shake out a moment. In terms of the start of this route, we were saying that it's very much an endurance route. Now, for someone like Mina, who has been doing some of the bouldering circuit as well, compared to someone like Kindain, who hasn't, or Magdalena Rourke, who has been doing pure endurance training for a long time, do you think she's at a disadvantage here?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's also about like getting into the zone, you know, competing and the routine, you know. And I think a lot of the other girls are maybe a little more nervous than her. And I think Mina is like physically, she's really strong. And even though she hasn't trained lead specifically, I think she's just as strong as most of the other girls. I was just gonna comment the music.
You a Britney fan or something?
Yeah.
Do you listen to music when you're in ISO at all? I know a lot of people do that to sort of zone out. I was speaking to Petra Kringle yesterday, saying actually the thing that she does to relax, I don't know why, is study back then. It gives her a different subject to focus on. If you're having to learn a history thing or something like that, you're thinking of something else. What do you do to relax?
I think most people wouldn't be able to focus.
Very tricky moment there for Mina Markovic, around the centre point, pushing up towards the edge of the lip there. What happened to her there?
It looked like she just got her feet, like she lost her feet or something. She got a big swing.
For anybody that might be marginally confused as to what that was, basically where we're sitting is the section that was rained on quite heavily earlier at the break. Me and Magnus just keep getting drenched at the moment. That's why every now and then there might be a little bit of a noise and a what is that? Apologies for that. It's just because we're getting drenched even though it's bone dry out here. Like being in a water park. Well, next up we've got Ramon de Grange coming out, the highest to qualify at this stage. The only athlete that managed to top the route earlier on. We've seen no tops so far here today. And let's see how Ramon de Grange gets on with this one. In your opinion, what's he going to be looking at this one? Is this the guy to do this route?
Yeah, I just hope he's not too stressed. I mean, he topped both qualifiers and he topped semifinals, so he probably really wants this win, and especially in the beginning of the season, he wants confirmation that training is paid off, that he's strong, and he can take that like confidence with him throughout the rest of the comp. So yeah, I mean, he really wants this, but it's like for him it's the opposite situation of the Japanese kid, you know. This guy has everything to lose. Pressure, yeah.
处理方式有些不同。这绝对是有着丰富经验的高水平选手的教学版的他法。来看他是怎么堪称的比拼。
Up at the first crux on the wall here. Again, not relying too much on that middle hold, using it a little bit with the left hand once he moved across to get into those low right footholds. Say again, Magnus?
No, I was just wondering if that's how the other guys did it as well, because in the beginning I wasn't paying too much attention to that part of the route because it looked relatively easy when Jacob and Sean climbed.
Well, I've definitely seen Gautier do the same sort of thing as just in from Ramon, taking that lower section, not doing the same foot movement as Donna.
I know, I didn't even see that foot out from here, but yeah, right. No, going again seems like the way. Absolutely. Just like all dead point moves in a competition quite sketchy.
I'm not entirely sure what his age index is like, but Ramon seems to have an insane amount of reach, particularly vertically up.
Yeah.
He did a really similar thing at the top of the wall in the semi-finals earlier today.
Yeah.
He went for a move that I didn't think he was going to be able to reach, even on like tiptoe standing up. But I don't know how he stretched to it, but he did.
Yeah, you must
See,
have,
like again, like look, huge move.
yeah. You must have big arms.
That was quite nice to see, actually. It really took it quite elegantly. Just rocking around to get himself back into the wall, turning back to face it again. He was looking so on form earlier on today, and at the moment he seems calm as anything at this point on the wall.
不过没关系，我们比赛快结束了。
So currently at this stage of the competition, Ramon de Grange on the wall here, but we still have Kim Jae-in yet to come out and climb for us. Disaster strikes from Mina Markovic a little bit earlier there. Ramon taking a moment to shake out here as well. You see the timer on this bottom right-hand corner of your screen at the moment, 5 minutes and 6 seconds left of the clock. They are timed, but that's just to keep them moving more than anything else. I mean, it's very rare that we do have to go back to the timing to divide a tie, as we equate into that and count back to the semi-finals and the qualifications. How aware are you of time when you're on there?
Not at all.
You just forget about it?
Yeah, I've recently at least never timed out, so I climb relatively fast and I don't have to worry about that.
So going for a heel here as well. Oh, I'm just getting caught.
He was going a little back and forth. It seemed like a little bit like Ramon was doing.
But he seemed quite confident once he'd gone into that campus move. He pulled through that with quite a lot of gusto. It's not like it didn't look like he was riding low. He was really pulling up into the move.
Yeah.
You think it was just a slip foot, or that he was just doubting, too hesitant? What was that?
I think too hesitant. It was, like I said, he had a lot to lose, you know. He was first the whole way through the whole competition, and he had a lot of pressure. He wanted to win this. Has he won a World Cup before? I know he won the European Championship, but I'm not sure he's won a World Cup before.
I will double check for you.
似乎队员在捣鼓着什么？是的，赛事期间最新的世界杯排名的第1位。
Here you can see our next climber, Kim Jae-in, waiting in the wings to come out and see how she's going to get on here. Things have changed in the women's results as well. I'm going to give you guys an update on that in a moment as we welcome out Kim Jae-in onto this. Her style I often describe as it's one of the most elegant styles I've ever seen. The fluidity of her movements are incredible.
Definitely, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can confirm on that, no World Cup win ever for Ramon de Grange, just a European Championship win. In fact, now that I've double-checked and reminded myself, I seem to remember in the interview I did with him at the end of the European him saying, I've never won before, and to have the first win being in France at a European Champs is massive for him. I remember something along those lines. He certainly went nuts with the champagne afterwards, he was screaming. So we're going to talk through Kim Jae-in now. Just about to get started here. Incredibly elegant athlete. Making a start to see if she could make a change to the overall women's standings here. You can see there the right knee has been strapped very recently, just to give some extra support. I mean, talking about it earlier with Tony saying that, and also with Magnus saying that, you know, it's just comfort tape a lot of the time, but it tends to be that if you have an injury there, that's the kind of thing that you give some extra support. If you've had the injury healed, it's just it's a little bit of a weakness, particularly in knee joints. I know that it's exceptionally difficult to heal in the long run of things. If you damage the knee, it can be very tricky later on in life. Just got a lot of strapping on that one now. I know that she is healed up. That was from Miol last year in the bouldering competition. That was just jumping down from a wall onto a boulder mat. Just landed a little bit funny and twisted. We'd expect her to be this confident at the start of the route. Interesting to see the difference in between the men's beginning and the women's start. Do you think this is risky at all at the start of the women's route?
It doesn't look like it, no.
Taking a moment to pause and shake out here, analyze the next section. Incredible flexibility, effortless at this stage here. Although there were a couple of points during the semi-finals that she was a little bit shaky actually. There was a couple of moves that she went for, actually quite early on, where I was a sudden jolt thinking, is she going to fall there? And then also towards the top, obviously, I mean, she was doing incredibly well anyway. She's highest to qualify here. There were a couple of moments I think that caught her by surprise earlier on.
Well, I guess the women's semi-final was also a little risky. You had to take chances, and obviously she did, because she's first after the semi-finals.
So Kim pushing up here. Current standings still Magdalena Roak in first place, Anak Verhoeven in second, Charlotte Durif in third, which means that Magdalena Roak and Anak Verhoeven are at least guaranteed a medal and a place on the podium here, which is fantastic news for the younger athletes, particularly Anak Verhoeven there. Magdalena Roak has had some success before there. This is what I mean about thinking that maybe they've all had a chat about this at the bottom of the wall, that lean out to try and get it. I mean, she's moved up a little bit more now, but they've clearly seen that hold a little bit lower down is quite a good one in terms of getting it ahead and not having to worry about it.
That's the thing, because if the hold with the X is too bad, it's going to be hard to climb down.
To go back and get it.
Go back and clip.
Yeah.
It's better to place it before the clip. Then you're sure.
Well, only 4 minutes 15 left on the clock here for Kim Jae-in. She's used half of the time. She's really taking it quite slow here at this moment. Likely to be reading what's ahead of her as well. What are we saying about this? A different type of beta here?
No, she's climbing this really slow, and she seems a little hesitant. But maybe she has power to waste, so.
So there you can see the position that she was in there for a moment. From down low, this is where she is on the wall at the moment, approaching the lip, which is currently moving into the medals positions now. Big move up with the right here. Is she going to need to match on this one, Magnus, before she can move on?
Need to come into the undercling.
Oh, there's a white undercling hold there. Yeah. So she's going to take that with the left and then move the right across. So a bit of a cross here.
Yeah. I really hope she does this so we can see the upper part of this shirt as well.
So undercling here at the moment. This is good for Kim Jae-in at present. 2 minutes 35 seconds left on the clock. She doesn't have much time to waste here. She's going to have to make
She has already won though.
a bit of time up here if she wants to see herself to the top. But as Magnus has just said and beat me to it, she has already won. This is the high point now, and Kim Jae-in takes herself a gold medal here. Still climbing though. Still fighting for it, doesn't want to call it a day here. Has no idea whether other people have maybe gone a little bit higher, but she wants to see herself atop. She knows then definitively the gold is hers. Big pop now, and manages to stick it. Very impressive here. Now this is a tricky section, but I think if anything's gonna really get her here, unless it's something around about here, the last 3 moves are supposed to be extremely pumpy.
She doesn't look pumpy.
No, I know she doesn't. The final 3, the crossover into the top, once you pass this diamond, the large diamond ahead of her, that's supposed to be a really pumpy section there, so it's going to be fascinating to see how she gets through that. Unbelievable performance so far from Kim Jae-in though. This is the excitement we wanted at the end of the World Cup. Oh wow. Oh, can't quite hold on to it. Fantastic though. She looked a little bit disappointed, I think, and then she looked at the crowd and everyone's clapping and smiling. She thought, oh, I've won, haven't I?
Yeah.
She looked a bit, and I think someone's definitely just told her. Yeah. And that is yet another win for Kim Jae-in, a perfect start to her 2014 season. It's what we've expected to see from her. Widely renowned as being exceptional as a lead climber, and yet again she's proved herself to be that at the start of the 2014 season. Phenomenal performance there, and happy to report Anna Verhoeven's first medal here as a bronze, and also Magdalena Roeg's silver. Fantastic to see them starting their year on such a high as well. In the men's then, I believe we're still with Schubert here in the gold medal position, Sean McCall in second, and Gautier Suppe taking a bronze again. But we'll have a look now at what the rankings and the results of this competition are in just a few moments' time. We'll bring them up on your screen for you. Have a little look at the standings as they are towards the end of the competition. First of all, because he knows I'm going to have to run off in a minute and go get some interviews. I just wanted to thank Magnus Smidberg for being with us through this one. Magnus, have you enjoyed it a little bit? Been nice chilling out, having a chat?
It's been cool. Yeah, nice view from here.
Good final, would you say? What were you thinking of the routes as a whole?
I think it was interesting. I mean, it's really. I don't like climbing on like really technical, sketchy stuff like the men's final, but I think it makes it interesting to watch because anything can happen. People can fall anywhere. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting final. I thought so.
The results are up on your screen at the moment now, guys. Jakob Schubert in first place, a gold medal at the start of the season for him, despite the finger injury recently. 32 plus is a high point there for the men's. Sean McCall takes another silver medal from Haiyang, 1 in bouldering, 1 in lead with a 31 plus. And Gautier Suppe, another bronze medal. The last time we saw him take bronze a little while back at the end of last year, so Suppe looking good here as well. After a bit of a shocking mix around with the risky final climb here. Would have been good to see a top, right? But still a very interesting final.
I think the top part of the men's final was really tricky and really hard. It would have been interesting to see someone climb that. But again, yeah, I'm happy with the final.
Well, I think we're just going to get those updated for you in a few moments' time. As you can see, Kim Jae-in is actually at the bottom here, but she's actually won this event, which puts Kim Jae-in at the very top. She's in gold medal position, which knocks Magdalena Roeg down into second place with a 38 plus, and Annick Verhoeven into the bronze medal position with a 37 plus. Those are the provisional results that we have here at the moment. So yes, Magnus, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing the next stage of the competition. What are you doing in between now and that? Because we've got Laval next and this bouldering orientated. So what are you doing with the gap?
Bouldering. I'm just chilling home a couple of days, and then I go climbing a couple of days outside up in the north in Flatanger, and then and then it's Innsbruck, and then from there it's just a road trip going to from Innsbruck to Chamonix, and then to Briançon, and then to Imst again. So it'll be fun.
Magnus, thank you very much for today and for being with us in the finals. Well, guys, we're going to leave you now for a moment with a brief glimpse before we get back with the award ceremony for all 3 competitions and some interviews for you. Let's have a catch up with what Jakob Schubert had to say.
Tell us a little bit about how you got the injury.
Well, I had a rock climbing trip to Hueco Tanks in Texas in the US in February this year, and I was trying an AP boulder and I hold a really small crimp and I ripped my A4 pulley on my ring finger. And yeah, actually I didn't have a really long break of climbing. I was able to start climbing again after like 3 weeks, but in the beginning only like jogs, and I was able to do more and more over the past months, but it's still painful crimping and stuff, but it's getting better every week, I think. Still wasn't able to do any bouldering World Cups this year, which wasn't really cool. And I plan to do a lot of rock climbing trips this spring since I didn't have any university, and unfortunately I couldn't do anything because I had too much trouble with my finger recovering from it, but I really hope it's getting better during the lead season now. I already feel like I can climb pretty hard again, and I hope it gets better from World Cup to World Cup.
It's quite a severe injury to sustain as a rock climber. What about the longevity of your career from here? Do you think it's something that could return and be playing you up every now and then, or is it the kind of injury that you think will heal well enough that it won't be a problem in the future?
Yeah, I really hope so. I think in some months I won't feel any pain anymore, and it will be like the injury never happened. So I'm really looking forward to that moment where I can climb without any pain anymore. But yeah, right now I just have to be a little patient, but I have to say it got a lot better over the last weeks and months already, so I'm quite glad with the situation.
Now you were quite quickly back on the wall again, only 3 weeks worth of recovery time. What advice would you give to anyone else that might have sustained a similar injury or have any form of injury while they're doing a sport like this?
Well, I think it's really different from person to person. It really depends how your fingers work, or I don't know, on what level you climb, but also how the other pulleys are affected during the accident. For me, I was really at the beginning I thought it won't take too long until I can actually like train really hard again and climb without pain. I mean, now it's like 4 months ago, and I still feel the finger quite often, but I think the most important thing is just to be patient and to appreciate even small steps.
Back on the wall now, though, concentrating on the lead, and you've got the World Championships coming up. Is it the kind of thing that you're still deciding whether to do a bit of bouldering there as well, or is it going to be, at the moment, just take things slow, focus on the one discipline?
Well, I mean, my goal for this year was doing only like 2 bouldering World Cups, focusing on rock climbing in spring, and then doing the whole lead season with the World Championship and all the World Cups. And my goal was always focusing more on the lead this year. In the end, I couldn't do any rock climbs, which was bad, but I just hope that I can still do well in all the lead World Cups this year. Maybe not really good in the first ones, since I'm not in the best shape yet, but I hope it's getting better from World Cup to World Cup, and should be really good at the World Championship, hopefully. I was planning to do the World Championship in bouldering, but right now I'm not sure, since I had to skip the whole bouldering training due to the injury. So I'm not sure yet if I'll do the World Championship. It really depends how my finger is developing over the next weeks.
You're going to see how it goes from now, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Jakob, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for talking.
Thank you.
Okay, we are at the front of the wall now with Sean McCall. 2 silver medals in 2 days. Are you exhausted? How are you feeling?
I was already exhausted this morning. Today was kind of like I was going through the motions. I couldn't warm up as long. I still warmed up to my full potential, and I climbed even faster. I already have a pretty natural fast climbing style. I tried to go even faster. I got 2 routes that actually were really, really good for me. I executed them perfectly, and I get to stand on another podium, so obviously just over the moon.
Well, this is something that me and Magnus were talking about earlier when we were chatting through as you were getting onto the wall. These styles have actually quite suited you. It was a risky route in itself, but it was a fast route and very powerful. So you found that it's suited you, the setting here?
Yeah, it definitely did. There was 2 or 3 really, really powerful moves kind of scattered along the route. I felt really uncomfortable at the bottom where I was matching holds, had really high feet, and then in the middle I could feel myself getting pumped, even when I was on the biggest holds and I'm clipping. And so I said, I can't stop. I can't go back and forth. Just keep going, keep going. And then on a few of the jumps, the holds were good enough that I kept my feet on. Then I was doing like figure 4s and my feet super high, and I kept going, and I got to exactly where I thought I would roughly get, and it was enough for 2nd place.
What about this sketchy move that was around the middle, this big dynamic crossover? You were turning out towards and away from the wall. How was that for you, that kind of cross move? From the pocket as you were coming across, how was that? How did it feel?
That move I actually felt really in my element. It's a bouldering move. It's a rose. I had actually done it in the final round as well in bouldering, but I felt really good at that. Like I lowered down onto it. I got the first clip. I crossed through. It was super good. I just threw all my weight over. The hardest part was probably just holding on just to clip, and that was where I said, okay, I can't match. I'm not going to be able to rest. Just keep going.
Well, you fell around the lip towards the upper section of the wall there. If you were to take another go at that, what do you think you would have done differently, if anything at all? Stuck it, right?
I'd have just stuck it. I'd just been like, all right, Sean, you're not gonna fall here. No, I was already, for the last 3 moves before that, it was like move by move. I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep going, and even the come under, the last move before I fell, I almost fell on that move. Jakob said that if he wouldn't have found that knee bar, he also would have fallen on that move. But I was fighting up there. I was super pumped, and I got the undercling, and I was pretty sure there was not a chance I was going to stick the pinch. I still really went for it, just in case it was really good, and I didn't really get it, but I definitely got the plus.
Sean, thank you for talking to us, and congrats, man. Two silver medals in one weekend. You must be very proud.
I'm so happy. It's crazy. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Well, guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to keep trying to hunt down these other athletes, lock down as many as we can, and we'll be back to you very shortly. Well, joining us now, our gold medalist from yesterday in the bouldering, Jan Hoyer. Jan, how was the bouldering, and how are you feeling in general?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, especially after the semi-final. It was, I don't know, I was a little scared of starting last, but yeah, it went pretty well. I got off to a good start doing the first boulder, and I think only Sean did it too. And then it was easy because nobody else really did the boulder, so I didn't feel any pressure.
Exceptionally hard blocks all the way through the semis and into the finals. Was it nice to be challenged in that way?
In finals it was cool because I think all the problems were possible and manageable in 4 minutes, but in semi-finals it was super hard. I think problems 2 and 3 were just way too hard for anybody of us, and if Dimitri can't climb a boulder, it's just too hard. Yeah.
Is that the Dimitriometer? It's how we judge everything, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of your success through this year, you've had multiple gold medals now. You and Dimitri have been chasing each other all the way through, and you also had that nice little competition with Sean yesterday. Are you enjoying having competition from these guys and now pulling yourself clearly up onto a level where you can challenge them?
Yeah, it's amazing to be able to climb against them, and finals are just fun. In semi-finals I feel some pressure because I want to be in finals, but as soon as I make it, it's just competing with the best and hoping to get good results. Yeah.
Well, it's Laval next to wrap things up on the season, and then it's on to home turf, and you have the World Championships coming up. Is that a big buzz at the moment for you to be on home turf?
I'm not thinking about the World Championships. It's about, I don't know, something like 2 months away from now, so just focus on the last World Cup of the season, hoping to make well, and yeah, and I'm psyched to be able to climb for the overall title, just to compete against Dimitri.
Just to wrap up, I want to talk to you briefly about the final block yesterday, problem 4. Talk to me about this one. I mean, you came so close to the right sequence and to getting up there. How was it for you, and would you have done anything differently if you could do it again?
I think the way I tried the first time I got up there was okay with the toe hook and getting to the undercling and just jumping for the hold. I expected it to be a little lower because it was a big hold and I couldn't see where it was, but yeah. And maybe if Sean would have done it, I maybe would be more focused and executed better. But yeah, it was fun climbing without any pressure, knowing that I already won after the third boulder. Yeah.
Are we going to see you being as gentlemanly again with, just going out and helping other people brush? You're going to be that kind of calm atmosphere?
Yeah, always. Even if I have to send the last one, I would always brush for Sean. Yeah.
Jan, thank you very much for talking to us and congratulations. Thank you. So I'm going to bring Anna Verhoeven over for us now as well. She's just waiting on the side and we'll have a chat to her about her first ever medal with the IFSC senior circuit. Right, first ever senior IFSC medal. Anna Verhoeven, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling incredible, like I can't believe it, really.
It's taken us a while to kind of lock you down because I know you've been phoning everybody and going a bit nuts, but talk to me a little bit about the technical side of things and how the route was for you.
Well, in fact, it didn't feel very well, so... and when I came down, I thought it wasn't so good at all, just like in the semis. And, well, then I heard that I was first at that moment, so it was a surprise. So the route didn't feel very good to me, and it was just difficult to find to know how the route setters wanted us to climb it. So I think we all had to search, but when you're climbing it, you just think you're doing everything wrong. So, and then I heard that it was hard for everyone.
Yeah, it clearly was for pretty much everyone that went through it. There's a very bouldery midsection in that roof there. For you, do you incorporate things like bouldering into your training? Are we expecting to see you on a boulder a couple of events in the future, or are you just pure lead down the line? How does it work?
Normally I only train lead, so it's good for power, I think, but at the moment I don't do boulder competitions just because it's too much to combine them for me. So in the training, I just climb in pures. I do lead routes. I train on the routes of the World Cup from last year, and that's what I do. So lots of endurance and not so much bouldering.
Now, I know that you were saying that it was difficult to read and that you found a couple of points were hard around that midsection particularly and getting through there, but you spent quite a bit of time on the ground before you got onto the wall. You were analysing it before you got on. That was something that was great for us to see as well, that you were watching and looking again. In terms of that, were you aware exactly of the route you were going to take through that roof section?
No, not at all.
Were you just pretending to concentrate on the wall?
Yeah, so in the isolation we were just discussing the route and no one really knew how to climb it. So it was really complicated.
And from now, what are the plans? We're starting the lead season, you're starting on an extreme high. Is this going to be your first gold this year? Are we going to see that happening?
I don't know, it's so hard. This is already incredible, so I don't know. I'm just trying to do all the World Cups and the World Championships, so I won't do any youth competitions this year anymore, so we will see. I'm just so happy to get into the adults competitions, and it's going so fast for me.
Absolutely. Anna Verhoeven, 17 years old, and now your first ever medal on the senior circuit. I'm happy to shake your hand. Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep trying to find some people for you guys. We'll try and find our medalists as often and as soon as we possibly can. I know that Kim Jae-in is around somewhere, so I'm going to grab her as soon as possible before this ceremony gets underway. Please bear with us. Well, joining us now we have our gold medalist from Haiyang 2014, Jakob Schubert. Jakob, after the injury, the comeback, the start of a new year, how are you feeling now?
Yeah, I'm amazed, obviously. I didn't really think it was enough for the victory today. I'm really surprised and I'm really happy. I have to say I was really lucky today. I think a lot of people messed up. I'm not the strongest right now, but in the end I did the best that I could, and it was enough for the victory, and yeah, I'm really, really happy.
Talk to me about the route itself, because there were 3 or 4 really sketchy moves there. One of the earlier ones, there was a bit of a low crux in that transition over to the right-hand side of the first blue banana. Was that something that you were aware of and that you were worried about in observation?
Well, not really. I think we didn't really think the beginning was that hard. I was really surprised when I started into the route. Holds were just a lot worse than we expected, I think. I mean, it's Chinese holds, no one really knows them, and therefore you don't really know what's coming. And yeah, like the first few clips on that slab were really hard, and the whole route was really, really crimpy. It was a lot of chips, which wasn't so good for me actually. I felt not so good because my finger was, I felt kind of a lot of pain because the holds were so small, but it got better and better. In the roof in the end, it was actually pretty cool climbing, and I fell with a bump, so I was happy with my performance.
That final section, as you were going up over the lip, you got that first sort of crescent and you were going up for that kind of tiny non-existent hold on the side. If you were to reattempt the route again, is there anything that you would have done differently there, or do you think it was just purely a matter of sticking the move?
Well, I needed to put my left foot higher on a foot, and I knew it when I was there, but it was a really high foot, and I knew that I would probably fall if I put up the foot, so I just went for the plus.
Start the season, very first comp, you've had the injury and had the time out of the bouldering circuit. This must be a massive high for you to start the season on there, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's great. It's always awesome if you can start the season with a win. Still, I think I have to work on a lot of stuff. I saw that that a lot of other people are really strong right now, and that I'm definitely not in the best shape yet, like compared to the others. I think I was pretty lucky today, and I could have been like 5th as well, or even worse. I don't know. In the end, it worked out well for me, but still, I know what to work on, and I hope it's getting better and better with the finger, and I'm ready for the season now. Yeah.
So finally, what are you going to be focusing on from now and between now and the next Lead World Cup? If you're feeling about trying to kind of up your training and up the emphasis, what's the next thing, the next step for you?
Well, I mean, obviously I tried to improve the endurance I have over the next few weeks, and maybe work on routes that I don't have any rests at all. Since we had it here and also in Chamonix, it's more like this style. And I just hope that the finger gets better every week as well, since it didn't feel that good here at that comp, but I was prepared for that since I knew that the Chinese holds are just really small, and I think it's going to be better in Chamonix and Briançon.
Jakob, congratulations. Good start to the season and well done.
Thanks.
Madalena Roak, silver medal, first competition of the year. Are you pleased, happy?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm surprised. I know that I'm fit, but yeah, second is really cool.
Were you surprised because of the route or because of the other competition that you were facing? You know, there's a lot of really, really strong female athletes here. Was it the route and the fact of how you did that surprised you, or was it the fact that everyone else didn't manage to get higher?
Everybody else didn't manage.
Really? You were expecting someone else to go higher?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the route itself for you. You got up into that lip section. You were just going up to the higher section on the wall there. Was there anything you would do differently if you did it again?
No, not really.
And in terms of your physical fitness at the moment, have you been doing a lot of training in the lead up to the season? How busy have you been getting ready? Have you done a lot of practice before now?
Yeah, I did a lot. Yeah.
How often a week are you doing training at the moment?
5 times, but before comes I will do less.
Are you training at Tivoli with everybody else, or you have your own coach or away? How do you do your training?
Yeah, I train in Tivoli and in Imst.
And from now, this is your silver medal to start the season. Are we going to see a gold somewhere down the line?
Hopefully, but let's see.
Congratulations and well done.
Bye.
Okay, we are now joined by our gold medalist here, Kim Jae-in. Kim, how are you feeling?
I'm really happy to win the first Lead World Cup this season, yes.
Are there a lot of nerves before the start of the year? You know, are you a little bit nervous and anxious to see how everybody else is going to be, how fit they are at the start of the year? Do you worry about the other female athletes being very strong at the start of the year?
Yeah, of course. Even I got the good result in semi-final, I'm still very nervous because so many strong climber in the final. But I try to don't feel afraid and just concentrate my climbing, and I think it makes good result. Yes.
Definitely got the best possible result, gold medal. In the semi-finals, there was a point on the wall quite low down where you reached and a little bit of a shake and then again. What was that? Was that just a slip?
I don't know. I think just slip left hand, and I felt my right knee is a little bit turned, but yeah, it's okay. Yes.
Is this because of the injury from Mio? Is it the same knee that was just a little bit awkward for you?
Yes. I didn't get the surgery, so sometimes I feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I think it's okay to just to climb in the lead, but only the landing is I feel afraid, so that's why I decided to don't participate to bouldering World Cup this season. Yes.
So you didn't get the surgery last year. Are you considering doing the surgery? Do you think you will do the surgery eventually?
I think this season will be fine, done surgery, but after the season, maybe I'm thinking, yes.
So you're going to prepare for it then. If you do have the surgery, do you think you'll ever come back to bouldering? Will we see you again in bouldering?
Yeah, that's why I considering the surgery. Yeah, I really want to join bouldering. Yeah.
So the surgery is purely so you can go back to bouldering?
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you for speaking to us. Anything you'd like to say to anyone at home in Korean?
Look the camera. 지금 막 결승을 마쳤는데 결승에서 완등을 못해서 너무 아쉬운데 그래도 좋은 성적 가지고 갈 수 있어서 너무 좋고 또 한국에서 응원해 주셔서 너무 감사하고 앞으로 남은 시즌들도 재밌게 클라이밍 하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.
Kim, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kim Jae-in, your gold medalist here. I'm going to keep trying to find some people to have a chat with now, and I believe we might even have the pleasure of a chat with Marco Scalaris, who is the chief of the IFSC. We are joined now by the president of the IFSC, Marco Scalaris. Marco, talk to me about this competition in Haiyang, a return to China. We've seen China put on some fantastic events recently. How has this competition been for us at the IFSC?
Well, I think it was a great competition. Last year we had this idea to combine the three disciplines because here we have a perfect location, infrastructure to do that. Of course, it was quite hard for the Europeans coming twice to China, but we need sometimes also to think about the Asians and the non-Europeans who are traveling so much and so often to Europe. At the end, I think it was a good idea. People, we had audience, the mayor is happy, the athletes, I have the impression, are happy as well, and the results confirm that it was a great event, yeah.
We've seen some fantastic setting in the lead here as well, and we've seen that develop a lot over the past few years. Do you feel like athletes are again and again stepping up the quality that the IFSC has to deal with?
Yeah, I think that especially in lead, but also in bouldering, the quality, the level is getting higher and higher. And with the new generation, we will be impressed. It's amazing what they are able to do on the wall.
We've seen a massive development in how the IFSC has been received online over the past few years as well. There have been a lot more people coming to tune in and a lot more people getting excited about it. What does the future hold for the IFSC? What's the next step from here?
Well, first of all, I must say that we are in the new era because I saw many people watching the results on their phone. So the second screen era is in the IFSC world already. I don't want to say much at the moment. We are working hard in order to improve our future and to get the attention of the televisions around the world and sponsors. There are so much in progress, so maybe next time I will tell you more.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience that is watching at home for the support and the constant encouragement towards the IFSC?
Well, this time I think it was also a good time because also for Europeans and the Americans they could watch it and stay with us. This is almost the end of the bouldering season, but the beginning of the lead season is getting more and more exciting. And so stay tuned, stay with us.
Marco, thank you for your continued hard work.
Thank you.
Mr. Marco Scalaris, president of the IFSC here. I'm still trying to lock down some of these athletes, guys. We're having a minor delay on the awards ceremony. That's a good thing for us because it means we get to chat to some more of the athletes. So stick with us. I'm going to keep trying to lock those down for you.
Please be seated.
下面颁发男子攀石赛奖项。
Now awards for the men's honorary.
请获奖运动员入场。
Please welcome the entrance winners. The bronze medalist is Grandmont from France.
获得亚军的运动员是来自加拿大的迈考尔·肖恩。
The silver medalist is Michael Shaw from Canada.
获得冠军的运动员是来自德国的郝哲阳。
The gold medalist is Oliver J. from Germany.
请国际攀岩联合会副主席、国家体育总局登山运动管理中心主任李志新先生、中共海洋市委副书记陈海涛先生为获奖运动员颁奖。
Please welcome Mr. Li Zhixin and Mr. Chen Haitao to present awards to the winners. Please all rise for the national flag and anthem of Germany. Now awards for the females team.
请获奖运动员入场。
Please welcome the entrance of the winners. The bronze medalist is Trubert Anu from France.
获得亚军的运动员是来自俄罗斯的卡普林路利阿。
The silver medalist is Kaplina Lulia from Russia.
获得冠军的运动员是来自俄罗斯的克拉萨维娜玛利亚。
The gold medalist is Krasavina Maria from Russia.
请国际攀岩联合会主席马尔科先生、中共海洋市委副书记、海洋市人民政府市长李波先生为获奖运
and Mr. Chen Haizhao, who will award medals. Please rise for the national flag anthem for Russia.
下面颁发的是男子速度赛奖项。
Now awards for male speed.
请获奖运动员入场。
Please welcome the entrance of the winners.
获得季军的运动员是来自乌克兰的波尔德列夫·丹尼罗。
The bronze medalist is podium Danilo from Ukraine.
获得亚军的运动员是来自波兰的迪斯基·马尔钦。
The silver medalist is Dynasty Marcin from Poland.
获得冠军的运动员是来自中国的钟齐鑫。请国际攀岩联合会技术代表克里斯托夫·毕勇先生、海洋市人民政府副市长王小燕女士为获奖运动员颁奖。
Please welcome Mr. Marco Scholars. Please welcome Mr. Christoph Billung and Ms. Wang Xiaoyan to award the medals.
请全体起立，升中华人民共和国国歌，奏升中华人民共和国国旗，奏中华人民共和国国歌。
Please rise for the national flag and anthem of the People's Republic of China.
请坐下。
Please be seated.
下面颁发女子篮球赛奖项。
Now the awards for the females league.
请获奖运动员入场。
Please welcome the entrance of the winners.
来自比利时的费尔特菲阿纳。
The bronze medalist is Anak Wahoven from Belgium.
获得亚军的运动员是来自奥地利的劳科美格德莱拉。
The silver medalist is Magdalena Roth from Austria.
获得冠军的运动员是来自韩国的金姿人。
The gold medalist is Kim Ji from Korea.
请国际攀岩联合会副主席、国家体育总局登山运动管理中心主任李志新先生、中共海洋市委副书记陈海涛先生为获奖运动员颁奖。
Please welcome Mr. Li Zhixin and Mr. Chen Haitao, who will award the medals.
升韩国国旗，奏韩国国歌。
Please rise for the national of Korea.
请坐下。下面颁发男子男主赛奖项。
Now awards for male team.
请获奖运动员入场。
Please welcome the entrance of the winners. The bronze medalist is Gijón Super from France.
获得亚军的运动员是来自加拿大的迈克尔·肖恩。
The silver medalist is Michael Shaw from Canada.
获得冠军的运动员是来自奥地利的舒伯特·雅各布。
The gold medalist is Jakob Schubert from Austria.
请国际攀岩联合会主席马尔科先生、中共海洋市委副书记、海洋市人民政府市长李波先生为获奖运动员颁奖。
Please welcome Mr. Marcos Ferris and Mr. Li Bo, who will award the medals.
Please be seated. 女士们、先生们，让我们以热烈的掌声。
Through our competition over the past few days, we've seen some very exciting climbing from Haiyang here in Asia, in China, and we are now going to move forward to Laval next weekend and the end of the Bouldering World Cup season. We do hope you can come and see us for that one. I've been Daniel Finn. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you very soon. Good night.